Yeah. It's so interesting I mean, for anybody listening to this, it's like, what if you just lived your life? Uh, I don't know if naivety is a word, but like, what if you lived your life taking action, being naive? Like, it's so, so many times we get caught up in our head of, even trying to figure out your life. Do I like this thing? Do I not? All those, should I do this thing? It's like, if you were just naive about it and said, let me just do it and just see where it goes, it's like you are going to have so many lessons, learnings, things that you get throughout that process just because you thought it was possible, that you thought you could do something. But so many times people, I feel like, do sit on that sideline and they go, what if, what if, what if? And, you wake up one day and nothing really happened in your life because you never took any action. So,
Totally. And honestly, it's something I have to remind myself of quite a bit because I am someone who likes to be certain. I think a lot of
yeah,
people, they want,
totally.
and I think, who was it? I think Jim Carrey, of all people, the funny
Hmm.
guy,
Yeah.
is somebody who had said at one point, you need to allow yourself to ask the universe for things that you want, move towards them, and not worry about how they come to you. Because sometimes
Mhm.
you're going to move towards things. Maybe you're going to move towards it and it's going to open a door that you didn't think existed. You're going to laterally move and be in a situation that you never even foresaw.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the fun part about it. And so I'm constantly trying to remind myself of that, of like, you don't need to be certain. You don't know how, you need to know how it's all going to come together or happen, but you need to start. And by starting, you're going to see a lot of things that are going to be new to you, whether you fail, succeed, or anywhere in between.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like just by taking that action, another door, it's almost like there's like levels to it. Like if you never took one action, you're never going to see the door that's behind that next door because you never went through that door. And it's like, it's probably a door that you didn't think you were supposed to go into. But if you never go into that first level, you'll never get the second and the third and the fourth. It's like life does have this beautiful way of zigzagging you through life in the most perfect, beautiful way. But if you never take that first step,
Totally.
again, nothing happens.
And
So
and it's why I love, podcasts. I love
yeah,
motivational videos. I love stuff like that. But I think sometimes what's lost is that the idea is that these are to help you move.
yeah,
They're not just to listen to and absorb and take in. Like it's great to be a sponge, but every now and again, you got to squeeze that sponge and find out really
yeah,
what's going to get you going,
for real.
what's going to get you to start your own podcast, and
Yeah.
so I think that, yeah, it's just interesting that sometimes we absorb so much. We become so knowledgeable. We know things about everything. Social media has helped us with that. But we never dip our toes in the water. And then somebody's like, well, is the water warm? I don't actually know.
Yeah.
I haven't been in it. I didn't go swimming. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that, our actions matter. And sometimes people think that it's just like, well, I'm not the smartest person in the world. I'm not the strongest. I'm not always motivated. And I think that's such a myth that you have to be motivated to take
Mm.
action. Like the people who are successful most often are the people who take action even when they're not motivated. And I just think that at the end of the day, you need to find what is worth it to you to take action on and then take even just the smallest of steps towards it. Because once you start, those bigger actions or the big, like, okay, how do you get smart enough? How do you get strong enough? How do you get motivated enough?
Yeah.
You're not just going to get it overnight. You're going to take little actions along the way that lead you to this person that you never knew you could become.
Yeah. So true. It's funny you say that. I was at this conference just a few days ago, and there's this guy Trent Sheldon. You're probably familiar with. He's a speaker and big. He speaks all over the world. And one of the things he was saying that was so interesting is, we look at how much consistency plays a role in your life and achieving the things that you want. And so many times people go, well, I have like a consistency problem. I can't do the things consistently that I need to do to get the result that I want. But he kind of took this person through this process that was so interesting that he's like, if you ever had a job that you didn't hate or that you didn't like, that you maybe even hated, but you showed up every single day for that job, right? And you kind of go through these few examples of how you're so consistent sometimes on the things that you don't love. And if you're consistent on things you don't love, well, why not learn to be consistent on the things that you do love? And that really, at the end of the day, it's not a consistency problem, it's a commitment problem. And if you can be committed to being consistent on the things you do love, like your life will go so much further because you're already being consistent at so many things in your life. A lot of the time, they're just the things that you don't want to do. They're the things that you don't like. They're the things that you don't enjoy. So if you can flip that, like your life just goes on a different trajectory.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you can also fail at what you don't love. And I think sometimes people
For
say,
sure.
well, I got to be conservative or take the safe route, or this is what my parents want me to do, or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
you could fail at that just as much as you could fail at starting your own business or writing
Amen.
your book or any of it. And so, yeah, I think that sometimes like just even getting over the hurdles of not caring what other people are going to think about what you do, because honestly, like people don't really care that much.
Yeah.
People aren't rooting against you all the time. Like they're not just looking for ways to make fun of you. Maybe in high school, so maybe our brains tell us that that's going
Yeah.
to happen. But and then too, just understanding that like failure is inevitable. That like if you're not failing, you're probably not trying hard enough. Like failure is going to happen. It's going to come, and it's more about how we're moving forward and responding and trying to get to that failure so that we learn and that we grow and that we get to the next one. That those are
Yeah.
things I feel like people kind of forget. They think that everything that everyone else thinks is going to be like what defines them. But when you're on your deathbed later in your life, you're not going to be like, wow, I really am glad I made those high school friends of mine happy.